Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. So, what are we discussing today? As you all know, one of the biggest storylines around the NBA every single year are ratings in the NBA Finals, right? We all know that the NBA wants the teams that are going to bring in the best ratings every single year because it means they're going to make the most money, right? And conventional wisdom has said, and also history has said, that the bigger stars bring in the bigger numbers. So whenever you have like Stephen Curry in the finals, you have a LeBron James, you have Stephen Curry and LeBron James. These are really big name players, marquee names for the NBA. Teams like the Lakers that have huge followings, the Golden State Warriors. We know that these teams are going to garner a considerable amount of eyeballs to come and watch these games. So going into this particular NBA Finals, a lot of people were speculating whether or not these two teams will be able to pull in the eyeballs. Now, the Miami Heat do have a pedigree of winning. They do have a history of winning championships. They've won 3 championships in the last 2 decades. One with Dwayne Wade and Shaq, the other 2 with the Heatles, LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. So they won 3 championships in the last 20 years. They've been to some finals along the way as well. So they have a pretty huge fan base. They have celebrities that go to the game like DJ Khaled and so many others. In the case of the Denver Nuggets, they're a team that has never been to the NBA Finals, right? They're a team that is rarely discussed. They're rarely on a lot of, national televised games, right? So a lot of people were wondering, and then you look at the stars. You look at Nikola Jokic. Obviously, he's a big deal in his state. In the state, the team that he plays for, obviously he's very known. Obviously, he's a 2-time reigning, was a 2-time reigning MVP. So a lot of people know him. I'm sure he's pretty big globally. And then you have Jimmy Butler, who's one of probably the top 20 NBA players in the world, but he's not a top 5 guy. He's not a Giannis. He's not a LeBron. He's not a KD. He's not a Stephen Curry. He's not one of these guys. So people were wondering, would these guys be able to bring in the numbers, right? So after game 1 came out, there was a bit of a surprise. But then when game 2 came out, we found out that these teams were pulling in numbers that were on par with Stephen Curry and the Boston Celtics just last year. And this morning, I came across an article from SBNation.com that I want to get into, which perfectly explains this. But before we get into that, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me just get into this article. The NBA Finals are pulling huge ratings, destroying big market propaganda. Everyone is still watching the NBA even without a huge team. The NBA Finals were supposed to be in shambles. Remember that when the Celtics fans insisted it would be the death knell of the postseason because nobody would watch Miami and Denver? Wrong. With 2 games in the books, the 2023 NBA Finals are pulling mammoth numbers. Game 1 averaged 11.5 million viewers, which grew in Game 2 to 11.9 million. Obviously, people really care about these series, and it's pulling almost equal numbers to the 2022 NBA Finals, which featured much larger markets with Golden State and the Celtics. One person said, would you look at that? The numbers for game 2 are in, equaling last year's average of 11.9 million viewers. The audience number peaked at 15,256,000 on Sunday per ESPN. Ratings may be slightly down overall compared to the 2018 finals between the Warriors and the Cavaliers, but these series is proving that people still enjoy watching the two best teams in the NBA, even without household names and massive media market to pop the ratings. So you heard what this article said. Let me first of all tell you, I'm one of the people that's truly surprised. Why am I surprised? Because the NBA markets this game through its stars. And given the fact that so many people have complained, so many people like Kendrick Perkins and others, Charles Barkley and his people that say, hey, listen, you're not giving these other teams a fair shake. The Denver Nuggets sweep the Lakers and you're only talking about what LeBron did. Why aren't you talking about the Lakers? Why aren't you talking about Nikola Jokic and what these guys just did? So I'm very surprised. I wasn't expecting this. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, hearing this information, hear me read this article, I'm sure a lot of you guys are pleasantly surprised. So what are my thoughts about this? First of all, I think this is excellent news for the NBA. Why? Because it means that the NBA has a way moving forward after some of his bigger names retire, like LeBron, like Stephen Curry. We now understand that if they put out a good basketball product, that people will want to watch. We also understand that people like competitive basketball, that people are they're not always drawn to the run and gun three-point shooting game, which a lot of people enjoy viewing, I'm one of those people that absolutely hates watching that brand of basketball. But when you look at the Denver Nuggets, they're playing 3-level basketball. They're scoring from close to the basket. You got mid-range shooters like Jamal Murray and others. You got Nikola Jokic, who's playing at the paint, guys that are shooting threes, and they're playing beautiful basketball. If you look at the Miami Heat, they're a passing team, equal opportunity offense, and people seem to love that. So to me, it says that people are more transfixed with great basketball rather than just big names. Now, if we had bigger names in the finals, do I think that they would probably draw bigger numbers? Probably. But I think the key takeaway here is that the NBA now can lean on the fact that, hey, we don't always need to always need to feel like we need to have these big names in the finals. And to me, I think this is great for the NBA. I think the NBA should look at this as an example of going into next season. Maybe we need to cover a wider range of teams, but not just the NBA in terms of putting them on TV. We need to talk about big media. They're really talking about these guys. We're talking about the guys that only talk about 2-3 teams every single year. We're talking about the ESPNs. We're talking about the Undisputeds. You can talk about other teams. You don't only have to talk about the Lakers, Clippers once in a while. You can talk about the Nuggets. You can talk about the Miami Heat. You can talk about these other teams in order to really serve all those fans in those various markets. And to me, I think this is how you really grow the game, when you really spread the love. Now, some people will disagree. Some people are like, no, I want to hear about the Lakers. But even Laker fans must get tired every single day hearing them talk about the Lakers when there's nothing to talk about. Just today, they did it. Chris Paul just recently got waived, or I don't know, they're conflicting reports. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, should Chris Paul join the Lakers? It's like, bro, good God, Lord, can we just keep it? Can we just look for? But they can't help it, right? So this data to me is very, very surprising. I think is a good sign. I just hope that the NBA pays attention to this, and some of these big media companies look at this moving forward and realize, hey, if we cover great teams, people are going to watch. Hopefully. So these are my thoughts and opinions on this. What I want to know from you guys is, are you surprised about this report? Do you think that this is something that could continue moving forward? Or you just think, hey, listen, this is a flash in the pan. It's a total anomaly. Don't expect this to happen moving forward. Or whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we catch you on the next show.